You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Johnson.
Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show.
Hey everybody, you know what time it is. You just watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so you want a big old after show. It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We're doing episode 108, The Well. I am Matt Lieberman. Joining me on the panel, as always, are the fantastic and talented Miss Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Kristin, Carole.
Hello.
And Joyce, Ajouri.
Hi, everybody.
Awesome. All right, so we had another great episode this week. We got our tie-in to Thor: The Dark World. We finally found out what exactly that was going to be. We've all seen Thor: The Dark World at this point, I assume, yes?
Yes.
Possibly twice.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Go ahead and are we gonna steer clear of spoilers for the viewers that haven't seen?
We're gonna do a discussion of Thor: The Dark World towards the end of the episode, before our predictions, so folks who haven't seen it yet won't get spoiled. But we do know that there was some destruction in London, and the team is there mopping up the mess, and they're not happy about it.
Nope. They should have left their god cleaning up after themselves.
Exactly.
Magic broom.
Stated.
Well, there was a lot of discussion this week about gods and, you know, the fact that everyone on this version of Earth now knows that, you know, gods aren't a thing, but aliens are. Aliens are, and they came to Earth before, and that's what all of the gods that, you know, or at least all the gods that the Asgardians believed in, or the Norse believed in, the Norse gods were actually real beings. They exist. And
more, you know, stronger and just at a different level than
Yeah.
they are here.
more evolved. They lived longer. They're stronger. You know, some of them are smarter. You know, not everyone is a member of the royal family or a warrior. Some people, like our professor, who we meet later on, are just masons, just breaking rocks for thousands of years.
Sounds so boring.
I know.
Terrible. I'm like very curious. I would love like a BBC-esque drama about like class life in Asgard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Can you imagine, though, the pay rate that he probably has after 5,000 years of service? I mean, if he gets a 3% increase each year.
Something tells me that the Asgardian royal family does not like match a 401k.
No. I'm like, that's what, now I'm just fantasizing about like the Thor Downton Abbey.
I would watch that TV program.
Right?
What a great
Yeah.
anachronism.
Asgard
All of
Palace. Everyone here at Asgard Palace serves the family. The family is important.
I'm making that video.
Do it. No, that could
should write that
that could go pretty viral.
Copyright.
Just gonna say, copyright
No one
Kristin
take that
Carole.
idea. Downton
no one.
Asgard.
Downton Asgard is a thing, and it's totally gonna
I
happen.
call dibs.
Okay, you hear that,
already made-
people? Kristin calls dibs.
Oh, yes.
She. The hammer swings so low. Okay. Let's talk about this show. It's my fault. I always bring us off topic, and then I get all sad when I have to bring us back.
Okay. I actually made a video based as a joke, and I showed Megan where it was "Be a man." I'll make a man out of you.
Oh, with
With
Melinda
little
May.
clips from
Let's get
it.
down to
You can't
business.
find very many clips though of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Wait till it comes out on DVD.
That I
Then
can-
maybe you
Yeah.
can remake it when they
Yeah.
do season 1.
See, all these tangents make it fun. Make this fun.
Yeah, and everyone,
work.
everyone here is about fun,
Exactly.
except for poor Agent Ward, who had his rage unlocked, and he had some memories that he'd long been repressing, came flooding back. The first moment that he felt truly angry. So we've got this Asgardian staff, this berserker staff, and these young. Like what, anarchists? Like they're anarchists. They want to overthrow, humanity, we are gods. We're going to take over. We're young. We're angry. We're pissed. We're going to do this. And Ward grabs the second part of this staff, and it unlocks this rage, and we get to see more about, he'd referenced his brother in the past. It's why he's so desperate to protect the team, why he needs to be strong. And I guess what his oldest brother didn't want him to help his younger brothers from drowning.
Well, and we kind of saw a couple episodes ago when he was talking about how that's why he wants to protect everybody. It was because he became a protector at a very young age with his younger brother against his older brother. And it was something about eating a piece of cake or something. The one example he gave, I believe. A couple episodes ago.
Don't hate us, but we're not completely right on that.
Well,
right now.
I think this really highlights
This is
how
far
he
more
was
drastic.
feeling
Yeah.
with
No, this
the.
was
I don't know. Cake is a big deal, but I think this really highlights how he was feeling when Simmons was sick, because that feeling of powerlessness. We can see in this episode where that came from, where that hatred of having that feeling of powerlessness comes from.
Yeah.
Because he clearly wants to help someone, but either his own fear of, retribution from his older brother, or his,
Well, no, his older brother literally tells him, I'll push you. If you help him before I say, I'll push you in.
Mm-hmm.
And then they both might die. He felt so helpless, and that's why he's strong, that's why he's skilled, and that's why he protects people. He never wants to be that powerless again. And I like what you said, Megan, about the feeling of powerlessness, because these young ruffians certainly feel powerless in the wake of society. And I think anyone who's, in this world after the aftermath of Thor the Dark World probably feels pretty powerless.
Yeah.
There are these gods that could come at any time, and our world will just be their battleground. We're not that important in the grand scheme of things.
Pretty damn small.
in the wake of New York and London, and I'm sure with everything that's to come, with Winter Soldier and everything like that, though the world has definitely changed. And what can ordinary people do to protect themselves?
Yeah.
And what you could be going to work one day, and then all of a sudden someone from Asgard, demolishes your car.
And going back to Ward, you can see the desperation in him when he takes that piece of the ship or whatever from Simmons, and he immediately disinfects it and puts it away. And that's such a stark difference from how he felt later on in the show, like his vulnerability and his sadness and everything. It was interesting to see that in his character.
Yeah. I'm glad we're getting lots of depth with him, because he's one of those people who really needs it. And it made me care about him more, because he's still that little boy.
Well, and we never saw the little brother get out of the well.
Yeah.
We saw the
We don't know
rope
what happened
going
yet.
down there, so I don't want to think the worst, but maybe the little brother, it still wasn't enough time.
Yeah. It would explain why it's his worst memory.
Because we don't hear anything about we don't hear anything about his family now, but what's going on with the big brother now? Where's the little brother?
Yeah.
We don't know anything. Where are the parents when this is going on?
That might
Or-
be something we'll find out eventually. We'll
Yeah.
get to know more about his brothers and what actually happened.
I want to get mean and go parents of the year. But we don't know what happened. Maybe they're gone. Maybe they're dead.
Maybe he was an orphan.
Yeah.
We don't
So
know.
I
These
don't
guys
want
have a
to
lot in
jump on
common.
that and then go, a couple episodes
Well,
from now.
maybe he fights, what is possibly in his big brother inside of him, too. Maybe he had the urge to do certain bad things as well, and he doesn't want to be like that.
And a couple of sort of the flashy bits too, when we weren't sure which boy was which.
Yeah.
The boy at the top of the well was smiling in a couple of those really quick cuts. So it could be that there is that sort of bit of mean-spiritedness in him up until the point where somebody gets hurt, and then that's when it's just like, oh no, this was wrong. I need to go and I need to fix this.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something that we're going to see played up later on as we come to learn more about Grant Ward, and we're glad that we got that this episode. I want to talk a little bit more about the journey to find this staff. The legend has it, or not so much legend as a story passed on to a French girl when an Asgardian was super horny.
How convenient.
Yes.
the best stories come from that.
And I love that her brother's a priest.
Yeah. Her brother's a priest, and he wrote it all down, and these young toughs have got their hands on it. And the fact is, this guy was just a Mason who broke free. He abandoned his rank and he hid the 3 pieces of the Berserker staff around the world so that no one would ever find it. First piece is inside a tree. We didn't get really any explanation about how that happened.
Yeah.
They said the tree probably grew around it, but then I'm like, it's like way up there and there's not like a hole in the tree.
And
it's
how
like,
did Jacob know where exactly it was in the trunk? How did he know?
I don't know.
I was curious about that.
Yeah.
He went like straight
He
for
was
it
like,
with
I
the
know
chainsaw.
exactly where it is.
It's like, you.
Yeah.
And I was even making the comments like, did he come with a chainsaw?
Oh, yeah.
It's disassembled in his backpack. Like, how
It's a
did that
portable
work?
chainsaw.
They're Norwegian. What do you expect?
Yeah, those Norwegians know everything about chainsaws, as we all know from our time in Norway. But they steal this thing, and his girlfriend grabs it, and she gets super raged up, and she beats on these poor dudes who are just trying to maintain the park. Come on, folks. Our national parks are our greatest resource.
Their little bit was so funny.
they
How
were-
could anyone do anything this evil?
He was so attached to the park.
I know. He loved it so much.
Aw.
Oh, I feel bad for him. I hope that his life gets better. I hope that his life gets
I hope
better.
his friend's okay.
Yeah. Let's have a sitcom about those guys.
We're getting a lot of spin-offs from this spin-off. We're getting,
Television development departments, are you listening?
because
That's
we've got Downton Asgard, we've got the human resources of S.H.I.E.L.D. and
we've got
recruitment.
Norwegian Parks and Recreation.
They're like business and a government like anything
We need
else.
to
Exactly.
write all of these down.
Norwegian Parks and Recreation. And so the S.H.I.E.L.D. team goes and visits the foremost expert on Asgard, this Elliot Randolph, Dr. Elliot Randolph, who's a professor, played by Peter McNichol, who's a character actor who's just been around forever.
I
Been
mean,
in everything.
Ally McBeal, Emmy winner.
24.
Mr. Bean.
And as Megan wonderfully pointed out, he was also in Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Nice.
Ashamed that I know that. And Ghostbusters 2. And
Ghostbusters 2.
2.
Yeah.
That's true.
But that,
Oh, yeah.
I
He
did
was
see
in
Dracula Dead and
Ghostbusters.
Loving It.
Okay, good. I'm not
No,
alone.
I
He
remember
is
now.
Vivo.
Don't feel bad. It was great.
Okay. So he's, it turns out they, Ward and Coulson team up to discover that he is in fact an Asgardian, which was like such a cool reveal, I
Yeah.
thought. Ward goes to stab him, and then he just crushes the knife in his hand, bends it. Super neat. And so this guy, he just wants to live a quiet life. He doesn't want much, except for French girls. And
And
his
Simmons.
students, apparently.
yeah, students.
He's going out with his student at
He's
the beginning
banging
of
the one
episode.
student, and he has
have
the
some dinner.
right.
I'm
He's
sorry, but ew.
he has the nerve, and he has the nerve to be like, here are all the changes you need to make in your essay. Make it this, more this than that,
Less
and we're
liquid.
still having dinner later.
There's got to be like some Asgardian like charm thing that comes off, I guess.
Well, he's no Thor.
Well, thousands and thousands of years. He's probably been around the block a couple times.
Yeah,
That's true.
I would
He's
say
picked
so.
up his game.
Oh yeah, he's got plenty of game.
This may
but he's
sound
not
mean.
dreamy like Thor.
He's a great
No.
actor, but I was kind of like, he's a warrior? Did
But he's
anybody
not
else-
a warrior.
Here's what I
He
think.
enlisted.
Here's what I think. Mason in Asgard, he worked hard for so many years. He's been on Earth for so many years. We're lazy people. he adapted to our lifestyle, to
Yeah.
our society, and that's how he turned out in the long run.
Totally. I doubt he was that chubby up in
Yeah,
Asgard
he must
breaking
have been
rocks.
a short, strong guy, but hey, strong nonetheless.
He was probably stout and strong.
Yeah.
He's got hand strength to boot.
True that.
Hey, everyone knows hand strength is what's up. Okay. So, we got Ward hulking out, and Sky's trying to comfort him. She's doing her pouty Sky thing of just like, let me be there for you, let me be there for you. And he's like, go away.
Stop
Lord
talking.
Smash.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that scene where he's freaking out in Fitzsimmons' lab and
With his
he's
shirt off.
with his shirt
We
off.
talked
Which was
about this.
great.
It equals out with the wet dress.
Okay, there
Oh,
we go.
that's true.
Oh, and Sky in her underpants.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Well, that's 2 versus 1. We need more Ward shirtless.
Yes.
For the
Yeah.
scales to be balanced.
What about when
you hear that,
Colson,
ABC?
opened
Oh
up
yeah,
his shirt?
that
I don't
counts.
know. Does it count?
The man says that it counts. Now we can get more Sky nudity. Anyway,
On ABC,
on
yeah.
ABC. The
I don't
Family
know. It looked
Network.
like at the end it might have been Melinda.
Okay, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
I'm just
so
teasing
good.
it.
I know. We're
And
gonna
I said teasing. Too.
we're gonna get to it. Oh yeah, you said teasing. Ooh. Okay, so he's wigging out from all the rage. He's like pumped with adrenaline, and he chews out Fitz. First of all, he tells Sky that she doesn't shut up. Then he's like, like, I cared for Simmons when I jumped out of a plane, not you wimp. And like, again, and I know I'm gonna get shit for this, but like, I totally sensed a little flirty bit between him and Simmons when he was walking her up the tree.
Yeah, no, that was a really nice moment between the two of them, actually.
Like he knew what would get her to do it.
It was a great scene.
And she was like, I know what you're doing, and but I'm pretending like
Yeah.
it's working anyway.
Yeah.
I think with, the part where he was lashing out in the lab, it was kind of like the truth comes out, through his rage. It's like the Freudian slip. And it validated what I was thinking that Fitz was, suspecting in the beginning of the episode, where he kept, eyeing Ward. Like, why is he taking that away from Simmons? Like the little piece. Why is he guiding her up the tree? Like his little eyeballing. That was validated by his like rage fits in the lab.
Yeah, that's probably going to continue to be an issue for the
Probably.
rest of the season, probably. And just the fact that Simmons also jumped to his defense immediately, like it wasn't Sky going like, no, this isn't him. The very first thing.
It was Simmons being
that
like, it wasn't
it was
him.
a biochemical reaction. He didn't mean a word of it.
Yeah.
She was the first one to speak out.
Poor
to
Fitz, he's so
completely dismiss it.
insecure.
I know. Oh, he's gonna spiral out from this. I just know it.
No, he's stronger than that.
Okay, good.
He's proved himself.
He's
so.
proved himself. You're right. And I gotta take the gloves off.
He's proved himself as an agent. He still needs to make a move, though. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
Very true.
Women
wait around.
women like men who are bold and also not dicks. Yes.
Both of those things.
And
are
don't
plus.
look like Peter McNichol. Sorry, Peter McNichol.
Aww.
And
He seemed to be doing all right.
Yeah, he's
He
doing
had,
okay.
he had a dinner date that night.
Yeah.
I don't see any of the other agents having a dinner date.
That's true, but they're too busy working and secretly pining for their coworkers, which is just bad news.
No fraternization within S.H.I.E.L.D., guys.
No matter how much Redbreast whiskey you drink. I think that's what Melinda had when she went to that room. Anyway, we're all right. Let's just get to it already. So
Matt really wants to get
I know it's all we want to talk about. So Melinda, in the heat of battle, after Elliot's been injured and all these young ragers are coming in, howling like creatures. And Ward has killed so many of them.
He blacked out. That's
Yeah.
when he blacked out and just like lashed out irrationally on all of them.
Now Melinda completes the staff and kicks our first guy's girlfriend's butt. Petra's butt. Kicks Petra's butt solid. And Ward has this moment where he asks her, what did you see? Like, did you see something? She's like, yeah. It's something I see every day.
And
It
he's
wasn't
like, how
a
did you
surprise.
hold all three?
It's like I see it every day. It wasn't a huge difference for me. She's so haunted, and we still haven't found out what.
Do you think that's what she was referring to specifically is what made her leave the field?
I absolutely believe it. It would make the most sense. It's the most streamlined narrative choice. Whatever it was, it still haunts her very much to this day. It made it easier for her to hold this staff because she has the anger coursing through her. She still isn't dealing with it. So towards the end of the episode, Sky sits down with Ward at a local bar, and she's like, "I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you."
I
He's
have a
like,
shoulder if you need it.
yeah, and he's like,
That's what she calls it.
yeah, and he's like, "Thanks," and he leaves.
Shot down.
Yeah. Well, he's been betrayed.
Of course.
She betrayed him. So he goes back to the
Fitz now.
goes back to the
Simmons.
hotel.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Goes back to the hotel, and as he's unlocking his room, which, like, first of all, I don't know. Was it weird to you guys that they weren't sleeping on the bus? But I guess it's like nice. S.H.I.E.L.D's gonna pay for their hotel
Like a little
rooms.
break for them. Maybe.
No, they even said that at the bar where she's like, it's nice to have an overnight. We should have this more often. And I think it was
He's
just
like, "It's not
because they were
standard."
on location.
Right. Yeah.
They needed to be there for more than one day. And it was
Totally.
That, and I imagine, how much jet fuel do you think the bus uses
So
flying
much.
them to and from everywhere?
So much.
It probably needs to rest and recharge. I mean, why not? A
Yeah.
hotel stay makes sense.
That
for
would
the,
be
for the
great.
bus.
Yeah, and
Just-
for
it's solar power.
and for everybody. For everybody. So he's unlocking his room. Melinda walks up to her room down the hall. She opens it. She looks at him. And then she walks in.
With
And
an inviting stare.
yeah. No, well, not necessarily. We're reading into it.
I know.
But she
I do it
walks
a
in,
lot.
I think, with a knowing stare. And she's got this big old bottle of alcohol. And she walks in and she leaves the room open. And we hear her walking around inside, potentially undressing. Not. I don't think that's what happened. And Ward walks inside and closes the door. Okay, so it's a bit suggestive.
It's incredibly suggestive.
Let's remember their age difference.
That
So?
doesn't matter.
Okay, if Melinda May comes up to you, you're not gonna tap that.
I'm not saying no. But I'm just saying that it's for on a television show on
She opens
ABC.
a door for you. There's alcohol involved.
I don't know. I think that they're
Gives
gonna.
you that come hither stare.
She saw him with his shirt off earlier. I mean,
I think that they were commiserating. It was her being like, you know, I know the rage that's inside.
They could commiserate at the bar.
She's not a drink in public kind of person.
Yeah, I mean, and also they've experienced this, both of them, just the two of them.
Yeah.
And it's like I said this earlier, like misery loves company. They understand the situation.
Yeah.
They'll understand each other if they sit and drink and talk. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't want to
That's
do
true.
that with like a bunch of Irishmen like in the
And I
background.
think Melinda's more careful than that.
yeah.
Melinda's more careful than that, and we're all shipping her with Coulson. So why are we even inferring this?
because they walked into her room. I think it almost would have been different if she even came up there and maybe they squatted in the hallway and just kind of drank quietly. Like that would be kind of a cool connection moment. But the fact that it was in her room, the door was closed, there was alcohol.
They left
involved.
it that way to leave it
people,
open
yeah.
until that
Exactly.
gets resolved later on. But it honestly could be either way. You know, it could just be, you know, we need to sit down and talk about this because we've been through this experience together, or it could be something.
All right,
like
I'm
I
gonna-
don't. I think the
more.
time for talking's over.
All right,
yeah,
I'm
I
going to
will
ask a
say-
question. I'm going to ask a question of the panel. I'm going to start with Joyce. We're going to go down the line.
Shoot.
Do you want them to hook up or to have hooked up in this episode?
I think it would make things interesting. Everyone loves drama, but I don't want them to.
Okay.
I don't think that it would be right for the characters. It doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kristin.
Do I want them? No.
Okay.
Not that you, I kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. It's intriguing to me.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it just because I'm like, what? Because they gave me that second, the creators gave me that thought. I'm like, I don't know.
It was like they've been doing that a lot where it's just like all the obvious pairings we saw immediately, but they've been exposing us to all the other possibilities a little bit.
Well, I thought originally when he looked over to his left that it was going to be Simmons going into a room, and all of a sudden it's Melinda, and I'm like, that's an interesting little twist there.
All right. Megan, do you want this to happen?
Prior to this episode, I never thought about it. It was the same thing, you know. We had our ships all set out,
know.
and then they throw this sort of curveball at us, and I don't know. I don't think it would necessarily change the dynamic of the group right away, just because they are both
It would
they're
just
both
be
so
totally
serious.
weird.
It would be so
it would
weird.
be kind of weird and kind of awkward. Like, I really don't know
I want
how
to see the
that would
next
affect
morning. They all get
Yeah.
on the bus.
Opening scene. They're in the bed, white sheets strewn around
Oh
them.
boy. All right. And I'm going to throw my vote in. I also don't want this to happen.
No.
I just think it would be too weird.
I mean, how would they even justify it? Could they be like, oh, May knows what happened to Coulson. She knows it'll never be the same. Maybe she just is lonely now. I don't know. How would they?
Well, yeah, no, that's the
I'd be
thing,
curious
right?
to hear
Is
that.
like Ward right now is vulnerable. He's vulnerable. He experienced all this rage. He doesn't know how to talk about it. There's only one other person who really knows what he felt.
And she's not necessarily as affected.
No. And, he's drunk. Here's the thing. I don't think that they hooked up. They probably didn't. We're only exploring it because there's a portion of the fan base that totally was like, what is that? So we're not saying this definitely happened. We're only exploring the potential possibilities. in the event that it totally happened, and we don't want to be with egg on our faces.
Or a Ward Melinda baby.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Maybe Mama May
That
could be a thing.
word.
Oh no. Okay. We're moving right along. So Phil Coulson, he had that moment with Dr. Elliot Randolph when he was talking about, where should you go next, and he talked about Tahiti again, and he's super freaked out. Our post-credit scene was him having a dream about Tahiti and freaking out, waking up sweaty. I'm pretty sure it's next week. Next episode is our Coulson episode. I didn't get to see the scenes from next week, so I don't know.
Well, it was hard to tell because should I tell you what it is now?
Well, next episode, if this is episode 8, next episode is episode 9.
Yeah.
So
you don't see too much in the previews about Coulson. It's more
about
their
the
next
girl,
subject
yeah.
is the girl that's being haunted.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely find out next week whether or not it is the Coulson episode. I'm looking forward to the Coulson episode.
I really liked that, just as a side note, when he was talking to Elliot, he suggested that he go up to Portland and check out their Philharmonic section.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice little nod to
with
the
cellist. I totally didn't get that until now. Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Go to Portland,
Go
Phil.
to
What are you
Portland.
doing on the bus? Get to Portland.
The dream of Phil Coulson is alive in Portland. Oh.
Maybe that's why Melinda and Coulson aren't hooking up. He's still got a thing for the cellist.
Yeah. Well, we
there
still
was that
don't
woman
know.
there was that woman in
In the second
Peru,
episode,
right? Was it Peru?
I don't know. There was some-
I'm pretty sure she's in
One
a
of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
those.
jail now.
Yeah, I think that's done.
Yeah, no,
I think
he's-
so.
he's
She kind of
settled.
betrayed
hijacked-
him. So
You try to hijack the bus. That's kind of a deal breaker.
Yeah,
But there was something there in the beginning.
that's true.
Totally.
yeah, they had a past.
They had a mysterious past. Okay, I want to turn the discussion to Thor: The Dark World, if I may.
Nice.
Indeed.
You may.
So those of
He's
you,
dreamy.
He's so dreamy.
so those of you who have not seen the movie, I would recommend that you stop listening now. Thank you for listening,
Skip ahead a couple minutes
or skip ahead
Yeah.
like 8 minutes.
to where we get to predictions.
Yeah, like 8 minutes is probably good. So we're capping this at 8 minutes. Okay. so Thor: The Dark World. I want to hear your thoughts on it first. I am a bit mixed. It's ultimately a fun ride, and I like where it's leaving the Marvel universe at its end.
Yeah.
But ultimately wasn't crazy about it. But I want to know what you guys thought.
Joyce?
I thought it was great compared to the first one. The first one was like, in my book. But I thought that the Dark World was great, and I love how it ended. I did not expect it at all.
Yeah.
I was like, what just happened? I tried to recount all the events before that moment and trying to see if I could figure it out myself. I liked it. The only thing that I didn't like, and same thing in the last movie, was Jane Foster's character. I don't know. There's something about her character that I can't believe. She's not convincing to me as a scientist, and just. But she played more of the damsel in distress, and but she had a purpose.
She was more active in this movie,
She
and I
was more
appreciated
active.
that.
Yeah.
And they
that's
played to
true.
her brains. She is a brilliant scientist. She did come up with the method that finally
she did
got
solve
rid of
the whole problem.
Yeah, she
basically.
got rid of the ether. She got rid of the dark elves.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
And I thought that, when she has the ether inside her and she has that power to just kind of repel people when she feels threatened or something, I felt like that was kind of mirrored in the what did I call them? The Norwegian rage cult people.
The berserkers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the berserker, the people that held the berserker staff or whatever. They would have that same sort of effect whenever they try to push people away. I know it's not the same thing, but it was just kind of paralleled to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen?
I liked it. Well,
You liked it so much you saw it.
I saw it twice.
You saw it 2 times.
I agree, though. I always think Jane in both movies, and I love Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I feel
She's-
like, I don't know why, and I don't think she has that much chemistry with Chris Hemsworth.
That's
in
the whole
movies.
reason. No, that's totally why she feels out of place.
But they're both so good as their characters, but for some reason, like, it doesn't match up, which is
There's
strange.
something
don't
missing.
connect.
Yeah, like
she's a
they're
great actress. He's great as Thor, and
they're both like beautiful people. And the performances are both great. I thought Chris Hemsworth was he's really settled into the role of
and
Thor.
he added more depth to this. But you're able to have more depth when you have 2 movies behind you. And I like that it was funnier.
Yeah,
I
it was
know-
definitely funnier.
There were a lot more comedic moments, and in the first one, which I also really liked because it was a little bit different. They also had a different director. It's not Kenneth Branagh directing.
Alan Taylor
Yeah.
from Game of Thrones.
So and Game of Thrones adds a little more funny in there than a Shakespearean piece of Kenneth Branagh.
Sure.
Typically, I mean, he does other stuff as well, but it's a
I want to
different-
talk about their chemistry for a second, though, because it's like, no matter how great 2 actors are, if there's no chemistry, there's no chemistry. There's nothing to be done about it. And I feel like that's why she feels kind of out of place, because we'd be more invested in the romance, which like is what to me was the driver of this movie. Like the Thor movies are driven by this romance.
because that's why he's doing half of what he is.
Yeah.
Exactly, because he's so in love with her. But we don't buy it as much as if there really was like a palpable crackling spark, which is kind of like why I want to see more Sif, because I feel like they have more chemistry.
Yeah, I think so too. And in the last Thor movie, for me, the problem was like, okay, Jane Foster, she's a logical scientist. Why is she falling in love with someone from another universe, from
Well, do
an
we
alien?
call that love or lust? Because it's Chris Hemsworth.
Well, she can't get over it. I get it. It's like appealing to
Maybe
be
it was a Florence
involved
Nightingale
with-
thing because she hit him with her car so many times.
Maybe.
It's like Back to the Future.
Exactly like
only
Back to the
with-
Future.
They always just joke.
But with Chris Hemsworth.
I've heard jokes with Thor where they didn't fall in love. It's just like 2 beautiful people looked at each other and they're like, oh, they're hot.
Yeah.
But see, I don't buy that. I can't buy it. And in this movie, she's sitting there eating her cereal, pouting because he hasn't been back for 2 days. I'm like, he's a freaking like demigod. Like, come on. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but he didn't like say bye.
But still, what do you expect? He's not from here. He has other things to tend to.
She deserves better. That's what I'm gonna
Stop
say.
taking her side.
I loved Chris O'Dowd, if I'm saying his
Chris
last name.
O'Dowd, yeah.
O'Dowd, yeah. I loved him in here. That
He was very,
that
very
was
funny.
such a pleasant surprise when she looks over. I'm like, oh.
There are 3 things on the menu.
Yeah. No, he was really funny.
Seabass.
That's that's the thing with this movie is like so many elements work on their own or are better than the first Thor, or like commendable elements, but just like ultimately it just didn't like excite me. I wasn't thrilled watching it. And also I thought Thor's plan was dumb. Why bring the ether to the Dark Elves? They're gonna take it. They're gonna use it. That's not smart.
Because he knew that he could save Jane while he was there and also save his entire planet.
He didn't think it through, though. He thought that lightning would destroy the ether.
probably
and it was,
should have
I just
looked
want to let
up
us all
Ether
know
a
we
little
have
bit
2
more.
minutes left to talk about Thor the Dark World
my
because I
God.
said 8 minutes.
That went by so
It was-
fast.
the ending
Yes.
was amazing. I like how
It
they set it up
was.
for Guardians of the Galaxy. If you stay
Benicio del Toro.
Amazing.
So cool.
Amazing.
Because I wasn't too excited. I don't really know anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy, so I wasn't too excited. I'm like, oh, now they're just adding more people because it's Marvel, and half of them aren't even human. So I wasn't know how I was feeling about
Oh,
that.
come on. They've got a walking tree and they've got
raccoon with a machine
Rocket
gun.
Raccoon played by Bradley Cooper.
Okay, walking tree already done in Lord of the Rings, but
Whatever. He was an
Bradley
ant.
Cooper.
I'm kidding.
Groot is a tree.
I'm definitely going to see this, and I'm excited to see where it leads. But I didn't really know anything about it. But this got me, as more of a fan of the movies, excited to go see the next one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good.
Definitely.
And Megan, you didn't get to get your thoughts in, so please do.
I'll be quick. Christopher Eccleston. It's always fun to see him in a movie, even if
Totally.
you don't recognize him at first. I agree. I really like this, but one of the reviews I saw of the movie was that it's basically just filler till the next Avengers, and I felt that quite a bit.
Yeah.
The Chris Evans cameo was great.
That was
Loki
great.
was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Like the fact that, Loki's in a position of power now. So that's great. I agree. Where it left off, it's great. It's like, well, okay, give me more. But ultimately, I feel like since we know a lot of these people are going to be in Avengers 2, even though the stakes are high, like the fate of the world or the fate of the Nine Realms is at stake, you don't feel that because you know, like, everything's going to be fine until the next Avengers movie.
Yeah.
You know, the status quo is going to be returned by the end. And then, you know, we're going on to the next thing. We're going on to the next movie, the Guardians of the Galaxy, where the galaxy will be at stake.
Except ultimately, the status quo isn't returned to normal for the people of Earth.
That's true. And we see here that there's an enormous mess to clean up.
Enormous
and I
mess.
really like seeing that with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
But, like, going to see the movie, even though it's a beautiful movie, again, like, while watching it, it's a lot of fun and it's really cool to look at. But yeah, I agree with you said it wasn't really thrilling. I had fun, but yeah, I felt like I was like, good's gonna triumph. It's no big deal.
And folks, you know, don't rake us over the coals. These are, if you don't agree with our opinions, you know, everyone, we all said that we liked different parts of the movie. There are lots of it that worked out. Some of you may have, like, really loved the movie. Let us know why you really loved it. We don't have to disagree. We don't have to fight.
Yes.
That's not what this is about. We all love Marvel. We all love these movies and this show. And that's why we're here. We're just here to talk about it as fans.
Really quickly, I was really sad that the monster at the very end wasn't addressed in this episode. I know
yeah.
people on YouTube had said that. I'm like, that would be amazing.
That would
Why
be
didn't
so
they
cool.
take on this
It was, in
monster?
fact, moi who said it. It was me who said it.
And if you want a very detailed breakdown of Thor the Dark World, please go to our sister network, anatomyofamovie.com,
Ooh.
which we do an hour-long, or actually hour-and-a-half-long breakdown of all the cinematics, the acting, and everything cinema about. It's basically a film dissection.
Cool.
It's also run here at AfterBuzz TV, but it's called anatomyofamovie.com. Check that out.
Anatomyofamovie.com. Check it out, people. And also, I'm not sure if I did this earlier, but I'm just going to tell everyone, go to iTunes. Go to the iTunes. We got way more reviews in the past couple of weeks. I checked it, and thank you so much for those. They really do help. So please, if you haven't gotten a chance to go to the iTunes, slap us with a 5-star rating, leave us a review, let us know what you think of the show, what you like about it. If you like us, I want to know if I'm liked, if I'm disliked.
Everybody loves you, Matt.
Everybody loves me?
Everybody. There's not been one comment that's been like, Matt, really?
It's, on this show.
Really, Matt? Really?
Yeah. Steven says really, Matt, really all the time.
Steven's like 1 star, Matt.
Boo. No. Oh my God. Well, once I had someone write that they were excited about a show until they found out that I was on it. And it was an ultimate pass because I think I'm funny, but I'm not.
They're there.
Anyway,
They're there.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So slap Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with the 5 stars. Let us know how much you're liking the show. We love all of you who are reaching out to us on Twitter and on YouTube. We like maintaining a conversation with our fans, so please, please do. And if you don't have iTunes, you can email us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. Let our bosses know that we're doing the right thing with this show. Okay, so bringing it back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I want to talk predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Steven's doing magic hands over there. Our engineer, Steven
Spirit
Lemieux.
fingers.
Spirit
David
fingers.
Blaine's secrets revealed over in
All
the
right.
corner.
So, we're going to go down the line. Joyce, any thoughts for next week and the season at large?
Well, for next week, it was kind of hard for me to think of like a good prediction because it wasn't something that was focused on Coulson. I mean, we didn't see that in the previous,
Yeah.
but definitely want to learn more about the girl who's being haunted. I want to know her background. I want to know who they're bringing in to this next episode, if it's someone that we already know about. But as far as May and Ward go, I don't think it's a thing.
Okay.
So
I think somehow it's going to be found out that they were together one night, and I think that'll be interesting to see what Skye thinks of it, or even Simmons, with Ward in terms of Melinda. With that, I was wondering with maybe the girl who's being haunted, and we see that Coulson has this nightmare, if it is the Coulson episode, if that's going to awaken something with him, because if it did make it sound like she's being followed by some other spirit, or who knows what's going on with that, and if somehow that spirit's going to be a part of Coulson. Not that it was part of him, but you know what I mean. It'll
like
it'll
a ghost in the
intertwine-
machine.
Yeah, it'll intertwine with his you know, his nightmares.
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick. I also think that Fitz is going to crack. I think he
he's under a lot of pressure.
He took a back seat this episode. He was a little more serious and insecure, maybe a little threatened by Ward. And I think one day he's just gonna snap and go all crazy protective. Maybe compete with him a little bit.
I like that, Megan.
It was kind of an interesting preview. Yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge sort of what this thing that's haunting her is. It is our Coulson episode. Did they say if it was going to be a two-parter?
No, and remember, this is just speculation that it's going to be a Coulson episode. I'm trying to remember. It was an interview with Jeff Loeb, but I'm pretty sure he said the 9th episode of this season is our Coulson episode. So I don't know if it's a two-parter. We're not even completely sure that it is Coulson, but I think that it is Coulson.
All right. Well, I don't know if it'll tie into that, but when I saw, in the preview, this guy sort of, like sneaking up behind people, and, it's seeming like it's an evil spirit of some sort, I'm wondering if maybe, like, the planes of existence from Thor aren't fully, like, done being lined up.
Ooh.
Because they had those, wormhole pockets, so maybe this is just a guy who's figured out how to hop through the different realms.
He's a jumper. Like the movie Jumper.
No, that movie was awful.
Portal inspired.
Yeah. Ooh, or Portal.
Oh, that'd be great if he had a little portal gun.
That's what I thought of the whole time. Like, they're totally portaling through every single realm right now.
I wish they had done like a Monsters Inc. inspired
That would be the coolest game.
Oh, like a Thor portal? Thortle?
Yeah. Portal.
When they were dropping the stuff through, and it was doing the infinity loop thing, I kept expecting to see a little achievement pop up.
Or the companion cube just coming out of nowhere.
I think if it is a Coulson episode, I am so curious. I have no idea what they did to Coulson. I do not think he is normal and alive. They definitely did something to him. He's some kind of artificial intelligence, or maybe his life is being powered by like some kind of like tesseract technology, or something like that. That could be interesting.
I could see that, like his life force is being maintained by something like that, and if something ever happens to that, then boom, he's gone too.
Maybe he's immortal now.
Maybe, who knows?
That's a possibility too.
That'd be kind of cool.
Okay.
A lot of ramifications with that.
A lot of ramifications. I also don't think that May and Ward hooked up, but that Skye will throw a look because of it. But guys, it's time to wrap up this week's show. I'm so sorry. But we're so excited to come back next week, and it's going to be so good. And that's why we're giving you this nice music to send you off. Joyce.
Nice music.
Hey, Joyce.
It's from Portal.
No, that's why I'm saying,
Joyce, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ajouri, Ajouri, and Instagram at Iroja, IRUOJA.
You can find me, Kristin Carole, on Twitter at KristinCarole13.
Hi, I'm Megan Salinas, and you can follow me at The Menguin on Twitter, and that's TheMenguin.
And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman.
I want some cake now.
Yes. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on the Sleepy Hollow, Sons of Anarchy, and now Almost Human after shows. If you haven't seen Almost Human, it just premiered on Fox. It's super cool. It's about the future and android cops, and it's like super gritty and tough. If you haven't seen, and Carl Urban, who's the best. So check it out. Thanks everybody. We will see you next week. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.